Hi and welcome. I'm Dr. Melissa Jocelyn. I'm a licensed psychologist with Crosstown Psychology and the founder of Crosstown, and it's here in Sacramento, California. And I am excited to be here today with Michelle Nevins. She is the executive director at Del Oro Caregiver Resource Center. At Del Oro, they provide a lot of support, education, free resources to caregivers who are experiencing caregiver stress and burnout. And I'm just really honored to be here today with her. So welcome, Michelle. Thank you so much for just being here and taking the time to do this today.
Thank you so much, Melissa. It's my pleasure. I appreciate the opportunity to share.
Yeah. So the first thing I just kind of wanted to go over, I know there's lots of people in the community, especially folks that I work with who are experiencing anxiety, stress, major life transitions. At Del Oro, for people that might not be familiar, tell me a little bit about the organization and who does it help?
Of course, I'd love to. So, Del Oro Caregiver Resource Center is a private nonprofit that helps support family caregivers who are caring for someone in the community. We actually, our whole mission is to improve the well being of family caregivers. And of course, that looks different for each client that we serve. And essentially, who we serve, two different populations, if you will. And as with many nonprofits, funding often drives who you serve. So let me tell you about our two different populations that we help. We actually help family caregivers who are caring for someone with a neurocognitive disorder. So, of
Mm,
course, that includes a whole variety of different diagnoses, all the different forms of dementia, could be ALS, MS, traumatic brain injury if it was acquired after the age of 18. It could be things that don't yet have a diagnosis attached to it, but the caregiver knows that there's something going on. And then we also serve family caregivers who are caring for someone over the age of 60 in a few of our counties. So that, of course, opened the door for more frail elderly diagnoses. It could be cancer, COPD, CHF, um, things that maybe there's not really a diagnosis, but the individual's just older and more frail. So and our typical caregiver is generally a spouse caring for another spouse or partner,
mhm.
or an adult child caring for an aging parent. So those are usually the kind of what we see, but of course there are variations as well.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That is wonderful. A lot of these um, types of who you serve, I was unfamiliar with it, so it's nice to just kind of hear that, and I think for the viewers who are watching to just get more familiar with the company. Um, what would you say, Michelle, do caregivers struggle with the most from your experience in working with them?
Oh, that's a great question. And honestly, it's, again, every caregiver is a little bit different, but we tend to see common characteristics or things that are going on with the lives of our clients. And because caregiving can be so demanding, a lot of our clients are dealing with 24/7 roles, higher acuity in the home, that sort of thing. There tends to be, first and foremost, isolation that happens because they're so focused in the person that they're caring for that they tend to let go of hobbies and interests and things that they most, like to do, which
Mhm.
just happens because your focus is elsewhere. And then, as a byproduct of that, a lot of times they're dealing with depression, anxiety, along with that. And it's because they've stepped out of roles that were once familiar to them. They've stopped working, they've stopped
Mhm.
going to those groups or playing golf or things that they really love to do, have just gone off on the wayside. And so they tend to struggle with those things. But then on top of that, they may be dealing with behaviors of the person that they're caring for because there's a diagnosis of Alzheimer's, or
Mhm.
perhaps they're dealing with managing a lot of medications or doctor's appointments, the higher acuity in the home is something that we've been seeing for decades now. And it's just a lot, and they just
Mhm.
lose themselves in the process. It takes a lot of effort to get our clients to refocus on themselves and talk about self care and how to manage that because it's become foreign to them. So, a lot of different struggles going on. But by and large, these are folks that are just have the most amazing caring hearts and are
Mhm.
doing the best they can with um, what they're faced with. So we're pretty fortunate to work with them.
That's incredible. That's really incredible, and it just it makes me think of just how important it is to manage some of the symptoms and some of the early signs. I know we see a lot of maybe physical symptoms or other things that could be potential warning signs, um, and I think it's good to recognize that and to reach out when that need comes up. Um, along those same lines, what are some of the online tools and resources that people can access that you would recommend in just managing some of those symptoms of stress and just staying connected to services?
Oh, this is a wonderful question. There's so much out there. We're definitely in an age where resources are plentiful, whether it's online or in person. Of course, we obviously want clients to connect with us at Del Oro. All of our services are free. There's no reason not to reach out to us.
Mhm.
We want to help be that support to family caregivers as they kind of navigate this road because it's hard to do alone.
Mhm.
And thankfully, all of our staff have personal and professional experience, so we know what it's like on both wavelengths to manage it. And it's so much easier to do it when you have someone on your team. There's a lot of focus on the person that you're caring for, their team. Let us help you along the way. But beyond our services, there are disease specific organizations that are phenomenal out there. They have helplines and volunteers that help with just talking things out. There's support groups that are out there that honestly can be a lifeline to family caregivers. Other folks that know what you're going through can help prepare you for different stages of disease that you may not be thinking about yet. Someone to listen non judgmentally to what you're
Mhm.
going through is huge when it comes to navigating resources. Additionally, taking advantage of respite care is probably one of the most important things that family caregivers can do to tap into staying connected. And respite is just a fancy word that means taking a break from your caregiving situation, that you have time limited substitute care coming in, or that you're taking your loved one to, so that you can maintain your medical appointments for yourself, go get your hair done, go golfing, whatever it looks like, go visit grandchildren for the first time in
Mhm.
another state. Super important. So, those are just some very practical things that you can do to stay connected as a caregiver.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I think the one thing that we often see too is a lot of the neglect for themselves when they're caring for a loved one. And I think, you put yourself on the back burner, but trying to identify self-care methods. And one of the things I think people kind of quickly forget about is the control that we have over our breathing. And I really like this saying. The breath is the bridge between our brain and our body. And
Yes,
so it's like it's I think it's so important to just find ways of promoting self-care, whether that's through breath work and relaxation or connecting with meaningful support systems. So I'm glad that you shared that because I think that there's a lot of value in reconnecting to your support networks and taking care of yourself. Um, And so the next kind of question, just kind of segue into this is, are there any success stories? I know you've worked in the field for many years and have had lots of experience, but any success stories with caregivers who have found that kind of that healthy balance and relief with using some of the programs that you guys offer?
Absolutely. I'm so thankful that we have a variety of stories to pull from, but one that I actually came across most recently was a caregiver who was caring for her husband, who had a form of dementia. And it had been 4 years since she was able to step outside of her home, outside of normal errands, grocery
Mhm.
store, gas, that sort of thing, bank. And she actually reached out to our organization and was able to use respite.
Mm.
And her level of gratitude, just that, and she made mention of it was a lifeline for her. She didn't know she needed it. And just that ability to, recharge, refresh, and come back into the situation with a relaxed heart allowed
Mhm.
her to really have a different perspective with the person that she's caring for. She didn't feel as annoyed or
Mm.
frustrated. She was able to have more patience and understanding.
Mm.
And that's what respite does for families. You don't need a lot of it. A lot of it's great, but just a little bit, whether it's 4 hours a week, 20 hours a month, can make a huge difference. And a lot of times people are hesitant to access that because it seems overwhelming, and you have to go through a few steps in order to make it happen. But once you do, the payoff can be so profound,
Mhm.
that they'll never go back to not using it, which is kind of
Yeah.
what we want, is that little taste so that they know that life can be better and that there's hope out there. So that's kind of what we want, folks to, all caregivers, to experience at some
That's
point.
Yeah, that how beautiful is that? I just thank you so much for sharing that story. That's incredible. It's so important to have that kind of like this reset where you're able to rejuvenate and take time for yourself and you come back and it's this feeling of just being refreshed and renewed. And so it doesn't create any level of resentment for that caregiver role. So I think that's so important when you mention respite. Um,
Absolutely.
how can people get connected to Del Oro? If this is their first time hearing about the organization, how can they connect with you guys?
But we actually have a few ways. Probably the easiest is just to give us a phone call, or visit our website, which will be on the screen, of course. We are here Monday through Friday from 8 to 4:30. We still answer our phone, which I
Mhm.
know it's a little rare these days, but we like talking to our clients. They can go to our website at deloro.org. There is actually an online portal known as CareNav that you can 24/7 just jump right into that portal and answer a few questions about your caregiving situation. It's password protected, HIPAA compliant. And so what that'll do is it'll actually, once you answer those few questions, it'll provide you with immediate resources based upon your responses. We'll get your contact information. We'll respond to you however you want us to. And then we schedule an appointment with one of our family consultants that you'll get assigned to at Del Oro. And we just start learning about your caregiving situation. We do ask some questions about how you're coping, more importantly, how you're not coping. And
Mhm.
then that kind of starts the process off. We talk to you about resources and what we suggest as far as services,
Mhm.
what we have available, what you can tap into. And we're just in it for the long haul with you, for however long you want us by your side. And we're honored to do that. So we're
Oh,
super thankful. for the opportunity to serve family caregivers.
Yes, that's beautiful. Thank you so, so much for just everything that you and your team offer the community. And I just think it's a wonderful resource. And, I think people often think there's nothing free out there. That's, what's the catch? But it's just a beautiful thing that the agency is offering for the community of people that there's such a need for it. So I think it's great that you guys are offering that to people. Um,
Thank
and
you for what you do.
Thank you. As far as, for those who are watching and people out there, I think that if you are struggling with the caregiver role or caregiver stress or burnout, just know that you are not alone. You are valuable, and you deserve the help that you need to receive. And so, if you need to reach out to Del Oro, please visit their website and connect with them with their many resources. You can also visit crosstownbehavioralhealth.com to schedule a free consultation with one of our therapists. I just think it's really important to get that support and to know that there's hope and there's help on the other side. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you.